Hey everybody, Jordan from Wardrum here. We're back with another developer update video for you all. And this week we're going to be talking about a few things. I'm going to go over the winners of the Engram Enigma contest. We're going to talk about what's coming in the new cosmetics update more specifically. And we're going to talk about some things that are a bit further out down the road that you have to look forward to in the future. So let's dive right into things. And the Engram Enigma has been solved. So shout out to our community members Crimpet and The Last Guardian, who each won 5,000 Ancient Amber by solving this. And what it is if you remember, the contest was for finding a way that your survivor could learn all engrams on just one character. And the way to do this is with the brand new Nirvana tonic. You find the recipe for this by completing the Cave of the Immune. And what you do is once you craft it, you consume the Nirvana tonic, and it's going to reset your survivor back to level 1, but you are going to keep all of the engrams that you had unlocked previous to resetting the character. So as you can imagine, you do this 2 or 3 times depending on when you decide to reset your level, and you will have all engrams unlocked on just one character. So if you'd like to find out some more details on how this contest went down or the exact recipe, we've got a link to our forum post down at the bottom of this video. Moving on, I also want to talk about a patch that just came out a few days ago, and this was for both Android and iOS, which had a fix for our single player progress issues. So we know that some of you had experienced this where you lost progress in single player. We're terribly sorry that you had to go through that. And thank you for your patience as we worked to fix this issue. Please, if you haven't already, please download that patch. And next, I want to talk about our big cosmetics update. This is going to be coming next week, and we've got basically 2 different kinds of cosmetics in this update. We have those which you will purchase as engrams, and those which you will purchase as actual structures. So the difference between the two is that when you're purchasing an engram item, this is something that can be destroyed, and it's going to require in-game resources to actually craft it. And the structures that you will purchase cannot be destroyed, and these are things that are more purely cosmetic and don't have any function to them other than just being a cool cosmetic thing. So with these cosmetics, we've got 2 different categories going on here. We have our indoor decor and our outdoor decor. And I'm going to start by going over what we've got to look forward to indoors. So first on that list is something that's my personal favorite in this update, and that is our creature skin rugs. So these are really cool rugs based on some creatures in the game, which will have the shape and color scheme similar to how you would find them out in the world. But what's really cool about them is if you've tamed one of these creatures, you can take their implant, put it into the rug, and preserve their color scheme and their name on your rug. So if you've got a tame that you lost that was very beloved, you can preserve them forever in the form of one of these creature skin rugs. And so at launch, we're going to have the dire bear, the Gigantopithecus, the dodo, the boa, and the saber tooth. Then we're also going to have some really cool decorative rugs available, and we're going to have 2 different types of clocks that you can get. We've got a digital clock and an analog clock. Both of these are fully functional, and you can decide if you want it to display the time on the island or the actual real world time, and you'll be able to pick that in the options menu, and the clocks work just as you would expect them to. It's super cool stuff. We've also got a sleigh bed in the game, which has got half the cooldown time of a normal bed, and we have curtains. You can place these curtains over your windows, you can paint them, and you can also decide if you would like to set them to open or shut. So if you need a little privacy at night, we're not going to judge you. You can shut those curtains, do as you please. Then we have some vases in the game. These vases function as small storage containers, and they're sort of like a super preserving bin. They preserve items for a very long time, but only a small amount of them. And we've got a few different variations on offer. And we've also got a storage chest. The storage chest is really cool. It was modeled after the Explorer Note chest. Looks really nice at the foot of your bed. You can put some items in there. And yeah, I really think it's great. Then the final 2 indoor items that I want to talk about is the weapon wall mount. So you place one of these mounts up on your wall, open its inventory, and you can pick up to 4 weapons or tools that you own to display on the weapon wall mount. And along these lines, we also have an armor stand. Works the same way, so you place this armor stand down in your base, open its inventory, pick armor from your inventory and transfer it in there, and you can display your armor pieces in your base. Then we have some outdoor decor items that I want to talk about. So the first one up is the water fountain. The water fountain is like a really big water reservoir, and it loses water very slowly. So we envision a lot of you putting these in the center of your gardens to really take care of all your crops and what garden items you're going to have growing nearby. So along those lines, we've got hedges coming. We have 3 different types of hedges. We've got a box-shaped hedge, a cone-shaped hedge, and a sphere-shaped hedge. Then to go along with these, we've got some planters. We have stone planters and ceramic planters and round variations of each of these. And of course, what would you like to put in those planters but some flowers? So in that regard, we've got orange flowers, purple flowers, white flowers, and red flowers that you can pick from. And what garden would be complete without a garden gnome? So you bet we've put a garden gnome in this game. You can get that from the store in this update. And then we've also got a stone crop plot, and finally some statues. The statues are super cool. We've got 6 different ones that we're coming out with. We've got the Carno, the Giganotosaurus, the Kairuku, the Taro, the Spinosaur, and the Tuso. And these statues, you can on most of these, you can actually pick different poses to put your statue in. It's, again, super cool stuff. I love what the team's been doing with this update. And in addition to all these cosmetic items in this update, we are starting to add compatibility for more Android devices. So I want to stress, this is not a full rollout. This is not support for every device that you all have been requesting. But in this update, we will be adding back in support for all models of the Samsung Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge, and we will continue working on compatibility for more models in the coming weeks and months. Then in this update, we also are planning on addressing any crashes or lost progress issues that come up between now and then. We'll be sure to get fixes for those in this big patch coming next week. Now, if we look a little bit further out down the line, this is probably a couple weeks out, we're going to be introducing a brand new server type. So you all are familiar with PvP and you're familiar with PvE, but we thought, what if we combine the two into one mode called PvX? So in these servers, these PvX servers, the center of the island is going to be PvP, and the coasts of the island are going to be PvE. This map here shows a rough representation of what we're thinking about for the PvP and PvE zones. So this is what our dev team's working on. This is kind of what we're thinking right now. You'll also notice that all of the caves will be PvP, and when you're actually in the game, you're going to see the border of the PvP and PvE zone. We will have that visualized, and there will be a small no build radius around that border, so you can't get up to too much crazy hijinks like poking your head in, trying to fire, poking back out, things like that. And so to address some of these balance issues, we're going to be releasing just a few servers to start and taking some feedback from you guys, our community, to see things that we need to adjust on these servers, some tweaks that maybe need to be made, and then we'll roll these out on a much wider scale. Following that, I just want to talk about one of our top community requests that has come up lately, and that is the ability to increase height restrictions so that you can build to the top of behemoth gates. So our team hears you on this one. We're looking into a way that we can implement a feature to make this work. Just to give you all some insight, the reason that these height restrictions are in the first place is because of the memory limitations that we find on mobile devices. So one of the possible solutions we're looking into is the ability to, let's say, combine 4 walls into 1 wall, so that way it would be less items in the game world that the game has to remember. Not saying that's definitely what the solution will be, but just giving you some insight into the way that we're thinking about this problem. So we hope to have that solution out for you soon. And that's all we've got for this week, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in. And hey, we'll see you on the island. Cheers.